It just seems like there's a Christophobia mentality where they're trying to find any way to push Christianity out of the mainstream and silence the voice of Bible believers. And I just happen to be that lamb that they want to sacrifice to prove a point for some reason.
David Menzies with the Rebel.media down here at Yonge Dundas Square, and you never know who you're going to bump into, and lo and behold, it's Reverend David Lynn. You might know about Mr. Lynn's case. He was arrested and roughed up by the police simply for preaching the gospel in the part of the city they call the gay village. Some people took exception to that, and he was charged. He did a night in jail, and Mr. Lynn, you actually had a court hearing just a couple of days ago. We weren't able to attend. Can you tell us what went down in the court?
Yeah, so basically they are not trying to make deals with me. They want to push through. They're not dropping the charges at all. So I have another court date on August 7th. I don't know why they're taking this to another level. I think it's now become political because all I did was share that God so loves the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish. And I didn't break any law. And they made it clear that I didn't make any hate speech or anything like that. But what they're trying to do is, I guess, really emphasize that I was disturbing the peace, and they really want to ding me on that. And
so let me get this straight. Just for preaching the gospel, they are calling that hate speech, but there's been preachers throughout time, throughout the centuries, preaching the gospel on the street. I think one guy was a fellow you might know of, Jesus Christ. And this is now against the law in Canada in 2019?
Well, it's coming across like that. I mean, it's interesting because the Raptors just won. People were up until 4 a.m. in the morning, and I live downtown, and I heard it all night, and nobody got arrested for disturbing the peace. There was a major Pride Day parade, and, I mean, if you want to make the argument that these are our streets or something like that, I mean, the LGBT community is a minority group, and so, but nobody got arrested for disturbing the peace. We have protesters over there right now protesting the Unplanned movie. I mean, and they're blocking the sidewalk, but nobody's getting arrested for disturbing the peace. When I got arrested, I turned off my amplifier, and I got arrested simply for using an a cappella voice on a public sidewalk in broad daylight.
So the Crown is not backing down. It seems they're pressing ahead. It sounds to me like they want to make an example out of you. We talked about this before, Mr. Lynn, that my personal thoughts on this matter is that the police severely dropped the ball with the MacArthur serial killer investigation. And now it's like anything that happens in the gay village, there's an overcorrection in terms of getting to the root of the problem right away. But to me, you're not problematic. You were simply preaching the gospel. I'll take you at your word, and it's on the video. You weren't saying anything hateful. So now that these facts are known, why is there such a fetish to get you to throw the book at you?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I don't know if this has anything to do with the elections coming up. I don't know if it has anything to do with that case, but it just seems like there's a Christophobia mentality where they're trying to find any way to push Christianity out of the mainstream and silence the voice of Bible believers. And I just happen to be that lamb that they want to sacrifice to prove a point for some reason. But you know what? In Canada, we have freedom of speech. We have the Ontario Human Rights Act. We're under the United Nations Code of Human Rights. So I should be able technically to express my opinions on a public sidewalk and without fear of retribution. And so,
indeed, and my fear is, Mr. Lynn, that people such as yourself, we had Dory Love going through the same situation a little later on. It's even if you are found not guilty, the process is the penalty. You're spending money on legal fees. You're spending a lot of time. I imagine it's causing you stress. And in a way, it's almost like you can win the battle and lose the war.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with a lot of stress because of this. We had to hire a lawyer. this is costing money. This is, I don't know what's really going on, but I think it's unjust. I was unjustly arrested, and we're going to fight the charges, and we hope to win.
And your next court appearance is in August. What's going to happen there, do you think?
Well, August 7th is my next court appearance at 444 Yonge Street, which is Yonge and College. I believe before that there's going to be a Crown discussion, with my lawyer, and I think they're just going through the formalities. And on August 7th, I guess it's kind of just going through the court. I'm not so sure about the whole proceedings, but I think it's just before a pre-trial, and I don't know why they're not letting this go, but they're pushing forward. They don't want to let this go.
Well, there you have it. And folks, Mr. Lynn, good luck on your further endeavors in the courtroom. And folks, this just goes to show you the ongoing war on freedom of speech. Just earlier this week, we had Tommy Robinson sentenced to 66 days in jail simply for practicing citizen journalism, doing what the other British mainstream media were doing. They made an example out of him. And here we have someone who is preaching on the street, saying nothing hateful. And the Crown wants to make an example out of this man. Believe it, there is a war on freedom of the speech. We're seeing our rights and freedoms eroded every single week. For the Rebel Media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, if you like that video, please like and subscribe and never miss another Rebel video.